Man, there really isn't anything quite like kicking back and playing some good old Minecraft. Yeah. You know, I kind of wonder what Dragon Ball Legends has been up to lately. I haven't really been keeping up with the game that much. Let's see. Oh my goodness! Toshi! Alright, so how's it going, gang? I know it's been a while since I've made a video here, and also a video about Legends itself, which is like my main focus of the channel. But basically, I'm making this video because I just don't really feel the same about Legends anymore. It just isn't really what it used to be, for me at least. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of rant about this, give my thoughts out. It's actually about to be Legends Fest very soon. It's right around the corner, a few days from now, or whenever that I'm uploading this video, because as you can tell, my upload schedule is very bad. But anyways, so yeah, Legends has been in a very bad spot since I don't even know, this year began, I guess, since last year, at the end of last year as well. Basically just mid-releases, mid-characters, really horrible toxic metas, no content, no CC. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about right here. But I just want to look back really quick, because as a day one player, there's a lot of differences between the Legends of today and the Legends of yesterday or before, or you know what I mean. But basically, back then, Legends was a lot less about really summoning for every new release, summoning, gotta summon for the new character to do this content and this and that. But instead, we actually, made parties. We made teams that fit the characters that we wanted to use. In fact, there was people maining tags. Isn't that kind of a shock or kind of a wild idea? But basically, yeah, that's just how it kind of was back then. Units would release every now and then. It wasn't so, sporadic. There wasn't a premium, like a completely, like, fully special unit releasing every month, which I guess I would give that a bonus to modern Legends, I guess, because I mean, back then we were really getting, like, I don't know, sparking Pycon or something, or yeah, just really random releases here and there, which, don't get me wrong, some of those weren't that bad. Like, there's some pretty hype ones, some hype, like, 1% sparkings in here and there. Like, dude, it was really hype, when? Like, when the Broly movie was coming out. Totally not biased, by the way. But, yeah, when, like, Super Saiyan God Vegeta debuted on Legends, or Super Saiyan Purple Broly. Not like he was Super Saiyan Purple, but, like, he was Purple Super Saiyan Broly. Anyways. But yeah, and I got really badly shafted on those, but, it didn't feel that bad, and you know why? Because back then, even though, like, summon rates are kind of still a bit of an issue, and they've always been, which, I'll talk about that later, but, basically, it didn't feel as bad back then, because banner units and characters in general would come back pretty regularly, I would say. Or even if they didn't, it didn't feel like you were really missing out on too much until we get to some characters that started dominating the meta, but again, we'll get to that. But yeah, just like, even if you didn't have those units, as long as you had a good set of units from, I don't know, like, the recent time period of, like, I don't know, the same year, the same couple of months, like, you'd still be good. Like, you don't really have to summon for, like, the new unit every single time, or any of that. You could just keep playing with, you know, a solid team that you might have already gotten back then, or you already got from some of your luckier summons on other banners. And it might even last you until those units can return. So that was just the thing. And also, there was a lot of content to do, actually, because, believe it or not, Legends is still also PvP and PvE. Shocker, I know, but it seems like Modern Legends has sort of forgotten that, where Modern Legends, you get a co-op, and then, I don't know, a Zenkai Tower Battle Rush thing. You got your Ultra Spacetime Rush, which, by the way, they removed the CC from that, but that's neither here nor there. And just, yeah, there just really isn't any, like, diverse content. There really isn't any really, like, rewarding content either. It's just sort of, like, do this, do that, do this daily thing, and then boom, you're done. But back then, I remember the stories, man. I remember actually having to strategize, use your brain, use your noggin, form actual parties, do things to actually win events, you know? Like, for example, I'm pretty sure if you asked any Legends veteran what their most memorable experience, what their most memorable event that they faced is, and it's probably going to be 9 times out of 10 the the old full power Frieza, like, tower style event, where it was kind of a common thing back in the day, back in the old Legends, where you would have a 50 or like 100 stage event dedicated to the new characters that just released, and one of those was for Full Power Frieza and the new LF Namek Goku, the U-Fool, you know, which that was also like a really broken unit, but whatever. We he's not really a problem anymore. But yeah, so but that event sure was a problem because, like, you could beat all the stages up to, I don't know, 49, and then you get to 50, and oh boy, that dude was one-shotting you, one-shotting anyone that wasn't a blue character. Like they were evil for that, where you could get, you know, full power Frieza from the event, or from the banner, which I did. I got yellow full power Frieza, but I couldn't get Namek Goku, and I really, really wanted the 1000cc, which, by the way, you only got the 1000cc if you beat the final level, which was, well, the one that coincidentally was type disadvantage of the Frieza. Anyways, I'll just wrap it up really quick since I'm kind of rambling on about this event for too long, but basically, Frieza hit really hard, couldn't use the yellow Frieza that you got from it because he was red, so it was obviously you wanted the new unit. But you could actually still beat it with enough effort, with enough trial and error, with a different setup of Super Saiyans, like Super Saiyan Bardock and Trunks and, like, the blue Dragon Ball Super Gogeta or whatever, and you could do it. You could actually beat it, but, like, nowadays, I mean, you could probably still do it, but it definitely doesn't feel like as exciting or even as rewarding as back then, where beating that event felt like you actually did something, you actually completed a challenge, and also that was kind of before, like, people knew to just, like, abuse the AI, which they later fixed, which, I mean, I don't think that was a bad thing. I just don't think it was a good thing either, but yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is there was a lot more to old Legends than what currently is in modern Legends, where even though, like, you were incentivized to get the new unit and stuff, it wasn't the end. But now there's like an over-reliance of new character equals new content equals if you don't get it, you just don't have any content for until whenever you pull the next new character, which really sucks because, I mean, if the entire game's content is just going to be the character, then that's not good. Because how are you going to get any other character if, like, you miss out on that one character and then you just can't do any content, which means you can't get any rewards. So, yeah. So that brings me to my next point, which is, why is Dragon Ball Legends quote-unquote failing or dying right now? And as I've mentioned already, that's because there is a huge lack of events, a variety of events, of rewarding content. Like, content right now is also very lackluster. We've got also like stingy rewards. Like, you don't really get, like, even back then, even though like there were dry periods and the events weren't as, like, you know, exciting or innovative or anything like that, you were still getting rewarded at least. But I can't really say the same about modern Dragon Ball Legends. They like to give you bits and pieces of rewards by doing a bunch of different events and content scattered around, but nothing really in one solid place like before, where you knew where to go to if you wanted to get CC, which was the harder events. But now they want you to do this event and that event and this event for tiny bits and pieces of CC that if you did everything, you would get the same amount as the one content as the one event from before. So yeah, I think that's also a very good reason why the game is dying, and I just don't understand why they need to do this, because it just kind of oversaturates the game, but it also makes it feel like everything just feels the same. Everything just feels the same. There's like no variety of content. Like, yeah, sure, there's technically lots to do, but does that really matter if everything just feels the same? It's just the same, go into battle, beat up some enemy, go into battle, beat up some enemy, and then get your tiny reward of, like, I don't know, 100cc if you complete, like, everything or something. But, yeah, and also it's a lot of effort, too, because you gotta do all those different events, some hard, some not so hard, but still, like, it's just so much effort, so much time wasted just for you to get kind of whatever rewards. And it's definitely less of a problem during, like, actual big celebrations, obviously, like Legends Fest or, for example, Anniversary as well, which, although you could argue, really, that even during Anniversary or, like, those, or Legends Fest, like, you have to really work a lot for those rewards, and it feels like they give less than they used to. Because I feel like before, I mean, it's kind of obvious that at the beginning they have to be a little bit more generous. So that might be a little bit skewed, a bit of a skewed perspective. But at the same time, like, it doesn't make sense why they have to be less generous now. Especially when they're pumping out content every month, every 2 weeks and stuff. But I guess I will say, the one major good change that Legends has made is the way that you get Zenkais, and before, you had to summon for those bad boys. And I guess that's also a reason why they were actually way better back then. So they had to tone them down because they were made essentially free to play, but at the same time, they're not totally, well, they are free to play totally, but they're just kind of a pain to grind because you have to do daily missions and stuff. So it kind of makes you want to summon for them if you want to try them out first. Which is what the YouTubers do, all the major ones at least, not me. But, yeah, like, I don't know why they can't just do it like Dokkan, which I'm gonna be making a bunch of Dokkan comparisons, just because, like, they're the two like closest games to really compare. Not so much because of the content or the PvP aspect or like anything like gameplay related, but just more so because they're both kind of in the same space and the same community. They both have similar, I guess, content structures, progression methods. I don't know, but yeah, it's just like the easiest comparison to make, I guess. But yeah, like Dokkan has easy A's, which is, if you don't know, if you're just like a Legends only player, is just basically the same thing as the Zenkai Rush battles, except you get the Zenkai after you finish it completely. Like, you get the entire Zenkai, not just like, what, Zenkai 3? Like, just 3000 Zenkai power? And you get a bunch of crystals or stones on top of it, which is like over half a multi. And Legends, what Legends gives you is 3 singles. Yeah, I think you can see which one is the better one here. But anyways, back on track. So, along with that, there's also, like, again, like, it's just, PvE is boring, and, like, at least there's, like, the story mode. Like, the story mode is at least, like, interesting enough to keep some people coming back, like me, who actually enjoys the story. Although I bet most of you probably don't pay attention to the story because, I mean, I will admit, it's a little basic. And also because, I mean, you get a bunch of rewards from just doing story mode. So, I mean, if you want to get the rewards fast, you probably just skip through all that. So, yeah, I don't blame you. But it is kind of boring just basically being a bandit beater simulator, just like, oh no, we have to beat up this guy. Oh no, we have to beat up that guy. So, yeah. There's just not really any variance, any variety in gameplay. The one, like, mode that really was at least attempting to be a little bit different was, like, full power battle or, like, co-op. Co-op, at first, was actually a pretty good piece of content, good piece of, I don't know, game mode, like a good game mode at the beginning, because, like, I don't know, it didn't really feel like you were playing so much for the reward, but rather just for the aspect of being able to actually beat up a boss together, and you would get bonus rewards on top of it. But now it's just a chore because there's a lot of new players that have no idea how co-op works, and also the rewards are kind of whatever, except if you're playing raids, but those really just feel like spam cards the game, and yeah, that's also not boring, or it is boring, I mean, but at least it's rewarding, I guess. On top of that, like I said, the game is very much uh, reliant on new characters being content, right? So, if you don't get the new characters, there's not really anything for you to do, which could be remedied with viable free-to-play options, because all the free-to-play options that they usually give you are just really bad. Because, like, they'll give you... Usually there's a free-to-play sparking here and there, maybe a special free-to-play character if they're really feeling like giving you an extra chance. But yeah, there's just not really any good free-to-play characters, any good, like, free-to-play teams or anything that you can really make. I mean, there's a lot of free-to-play summons that you can do, but there's just not really a good way to get the characters that you would want, and most of the time the characters that are in those free-to-play summons are very outdated. So yeah, you're not getting past like battle rank 30 or something. So, and again, like Dokkan actually has pretty good free-to-play characters that you can use in like actual hard content. Like just recently with the the Daima characters there with like the free-to-play Glorio and the free-to-play Pansy, which Pansy can dodge and stuff and like support, and then Glorio can also have a little bit of dodge, a little bit of damage reduction, and some extra support. Like, those are solid free-to-play units, and they can do some good damage and like actually help you out. But in Legends doesn't really have anything for you in terms of free-to-play. Like, the free-to-play units don't really help you out that much. They just kind of exist just, you know, to show like, oh hey, don't worry, you can still get this free sparking if you play this event and get a nice little equip for it and try it out in PvP, even though you're gonna probably die to someone who has a 14-star Ultra Namek Goku. Yay! But yeah, basically, I'm not saying that they have to be like on the level of LFs. They just have to be actually well designed and have enough to actually give free-to-play players or just like new or returning players a chance to actually like compete or, you know, play in like whatever the new content release is. So, yeah. And speaking of which, there's also just like an over-reliance of PvP as content, because as I just mentioned, if characters are content, that means PvP is also the main mode of content, which it makes sense. This game was built off the idea of like, what if Dokkan had PvP, or like if we had like an actual mobile game, a Dragon Ball PvP mobile game. So yeah, this definitely is more so a core issue of the game, which isn't really as easily identifiable or fixable. But still, they can do some things to remedy it. I don't know, like just having, okay, first of all, like better servers or better just like matchmaking, because I don't know what it is, but Legends has made a bunch of different changes to matchmaking since the beginning of the game, but like none of them really seem to really work, because you still get paired up with people who are, for some reason, in a whole different planet than you, or just like people that are completely just like brain dead. I don't mean to like insult anyone playing PvP or anything like that, but just like people that just either don't know how to play the game, or people that just like are way out of their league. So, yeah. And also, on top of that, just even though the characters are the content, they have a very short life cycle. So, like, as soon as one character drops, whenever the next one drops, immediately the other one gets thrown out of the meta, basically. Like, it's just basically just new unit comes out, destroys the old unit, new unit comes out, destroys that unit. Just, like I said before, for old Legends, like, characters actually used to last long in the meta, and you could actually use them for well after they came out, but not really so much anymore, because obviously money, and also because characters are so overtuned to the point where they have to create them to be way more strong than the one previously, which ends up creating that effect. And before, since abilities were way more simpler, which, by the way, I have to mention the design philosophy, like, I don't know, it's just a complete failure. Goresh has like a way better video or something like that, so, or honestly, anybody else probably has talked about it already, but yeah, the design philosophy hasn't really addressed any of these issues either. Because, like I said, back then, abilities were simple, but they did a lot more with that than whatever we have now. Because it feels like every character has basically the same 3 or 4 abilities before and after the the design philosophy change. And but the biggest difference between then and now is really just like the damage, and then also just I guess the synergy is what I'd say. Because like back then, you definitely wanted to bring characters that could synergize well, and I guess that is also a thing now. But really, it just feels more like bring the top 3 units every time and you'll win, and that's it. But back then, like, just because the characters were in the top 5 doesn't necessarily mean, or didn't necessarily mean, that you wanted to use those top 5 units in your party. You wanted to also bring in, like, some others that were outside of even, like, the top 10 just because they synergize better, or because, like, you know, the party was just, like, better boosted that way or something like that. So, yeah. And, again, so banners also were, I guess, a little bit better back then, but now they are abysmal. Units won't return for another, like, 5 to, like, what, 8 months after they release, especially, like, random, like, gem mid, like, mid-dry period releases, like, I don't know, whatever, like, the February releases or, like, the October releases and stuff like that, like, those don't come back until a while later for some reason. And then, like, you'll be saving up for, like, Legends Fest and Anniversary, and then, like, you'll have characters from, like, a year ago still pop up, which, again, going back to some of the previous points, because they don't last long in the meta anymore, like, those end up just feeling like worthless pulls, because, like, great, I pulled this, like, character that I was missing, but they're, like, completely shut down by all the characters that are running the meta right now, so yay, yippee. But, yeah, and also, one more big thing to mention is the CC cap. Oh my goodness, like, this has no... There is no reason for this to exist. I don't, like... The only other reason this exists is simply because money and greed, but, like, even then, it makes no sense, because why are you putting a limit on currency? Like, I mean, that's only the cap if you're free to play, like, saving up. I guess it's just to prevent people from saving up enough for, like, those big celebrations, but at the rate that you're giving these rewards out, like, how are people even supposed to reach the cap in the first place? And then, like, it's only the ones from, like, exchange shops too, or like in the gift box. So, like, it makes even less sense. Is it data reasons? Is it like storage, like in their servers? Like, the only reason can really be just because they want more money from you, which is obviously terrible, but good for them. It's just, like, at least raise it to, like, a much larger amount, because right now it's at 2,000 or 20,000. Like, why not raise it to, like, 50,000 or 100,000? Like, there's not even going to be any free-to-play players, probably, that even reach that within 1 year. So, yeah, it just makes no sense. Because, like, you could still get crystals, you could still do continent stuff, but just, it's just so... like, there's no reason to have it. There's no real reason to have it. Like, you're just making things difficult, making things less enjoyable for the sake of, I don't know, getting, like, just squeezing out a few extra dollars out of the player base, which is really terrible. That's just gonna make people less want to play your game, but that's just me. And so, let me also talk about some thoughts that a few other friends of mine had as well on Dragon Ball Legends. So here my friend mentions that while the idea of Legends, like as a whole, at its core, is pretty fun, and when it's actually good, it does genuinely feel good. It's just all the worst parts about the game really make it feel terrible, and I completely agree. But again, as I've mentioned before, the power creep is just way, way too, way too much in Legends. Like, units from even 1 year ago just aren't viable at all, like, right now. Like, anniversary characters get power crept in literal months. Like, they don't even last long, and they're anniversary characters. So it just makes no sense. And then the Disruptus and a bunch of like annoying other effects that just like take control away from you as well just feels awful. Like paralysis. Like I'm sure if any of you have played Dragon Ball Legends for a long time, you know how annoying and how terrible of a mechanic paralyze is. Where just there's no like really playing around it. You just get paralyzed and then your character goes like just it's just ridiculous. Like who thought this was a good idea? Like if it was just like a stun, if it was just like a guaranteed stun, like I feel like that makes more sense, but like a random chance to just interrupt and just like eat your input, just like basically interrupt whatever you were trying to do, like that just isn't fun and isn't good design, I would say. So they really should like remove stuff like that and any other like terrible mechanics like that, like lock-in kind of as well, like lock-in characters. I am just like afraid that one day they're gonna screw up and just release a character that locks in for like 10 counts again, like Green Bardock or something from like the first 2 years of the game. Like those kinds of mechanics, those kinds of characters just like are really toxic and are the ones that really cause the meta to be like just insufferable. And again, like I've mentioned, just like the grind of like co-op and like PvE content and stuff like that is just like really boring and like for such little reward, such little payoff. Alright, and going back to the issue of balancing and just power creep in the game, like PvP also is like a mess because it's basically decided by coin flip whether or not like either you kill your opponent in one hit or your opponent kills you in one hit, or they rush you before you get rushed, or vice versa. Like there's no like real, I guess, neutral game or any sort of like actual back and forth. It's really just like one player's dominating or the other one is. Like and like it's crazy because Rising Rush is meant to be like a comeback mechanic, but then you have people that just immediately rush you and then you just lose the game. Like there's nothing you can do. Like you just lose a character to one mistake, they rush you, and then you're down to your last character and they still have all three. Like how is that fun? How is that fun? So it's actually a good point that my friend brought up here. Okay, and lastly, I do agree with my friend here that there definitely needs to be more of a varied roster, because like yeah, like Goku and like Vegeta's and like the fusions and stuff are pretty popular and pretty cool characters, but at the same time, if there's like too many of those characters, then it feels really boring to see them. It just kind of loses their luster, their special uniqueness, if they just keep releasing the same few characters every time. Because like if they released like 5 Gogetas in a row, I'd be tired by like the third one or something. Like there doesn't need to be that many Gogetas or that many Gokus in a row. Which, I mean, granted, Legends doesn't really like do that too often, but I mean, it can get to a point because, like, for example, during the 6th anniversary, I will say that they kind of dropped too many hype fusion characters all at once, which left the rest of the year kind of feeling a little lackluster. I mean, and also because it set the bar really high. I mean, look at what happened during Legends Fest last year, why people felt it was lacking, because Vegito, like the transforming blue Vegito, like the only new thing he had, the only new thing he had to offer, the only unique thing was the combo break ability, which is not even new, actually, now that I think about it, because Gogeta in the 6th anniversary had it, but they just gave it to Vegito as like a passive ability, not even like how Gogeta has it, where it's actually like its own unique thing that you have to activate. Like, it has certain conditions. Like, it's not the same. It's just a much more watered down, stronger, sure, but watered down version of the same ability. So, just, that's why it felt like so boring last year with those characters, even though they're hype characters and all that. Like, just their animations were kind of whatever. I mean, you could argue Vegito had some cool animations, I guess, with like his LF and all that, but Goku Black, I'm sorry, they kind of ruined that guy. Like they really did not do justice with his LF at all. But anyways, last thing here, like, I actually appreciate that my friend mentions this here. Like, yeah, I have to say, Legends hate, yeah, it does come from a good place, because, like, I personally have always enjoyed the game, even though I have had my moments like how I am right now. Although, I guess, really, this has, like, been the lowest point for me, to be honest, of, like, not wanting to play the game or anything like that. But, like, but before that, I mean, I wouldn't say that I didn't enjoy playing Legends, although there were times where Legends has been really annoying. Which, I mean, I did take breaks from the game a couple of different times, so yeah, I'm not like, I've not been consistent since day one or anything. I mean, I have played since day one, and I have still played, and haven't, like, completely stopped playing, but I have, like, taken breaks from the game at least, here and there. But, yeah, just, I guess, I'll save that for the end, but I do genuinely like Legends. I like the idea behind the game and all that, which is why I'm making this video, because I want to see these things be improved. But, yeah. Alright, and also, in general, some of my other friends also mentioned that, like, new events go away way too fast, like, events don't really return or anything like that. Like old events, like those ones that I mentioned before, that give a lot of rewards, like, they never return. Like, those hardly ever return. There was a few times where some of those did return, but, like, those haven't returned since, like, the 2nd year of the game, or something like that. So, yeah, Legends, just, like, for some reason, really likes to just drop events, but then, like, they never return. I guess it's because they want to, like, keep players focused on the new content, but, like, the new content is basically the same as the old content, and it's also just, like, there's less to do, which I guess could be better, could be worse, depending on how you think about it. But, I mean, I will say that having more content is probably better than having, like, barely any content at all, even if it is a little bit boring and repetitive, just because at least you get rewards if they still keep some of those old events, like those 50 stage events and stuff like that. Like, that would be, like, pretty decent ways to get people to be playing and also get rewards and not feel like they're screwed over if they don't get what they want. So, yeah, I would say that that is definitely a good thing that my friends have brought up as well. Just like the fact that Legends should really return content and stop making content that just goes away the after the campaign ends and stuff like that. And also stop making like time exclusive, like limited exclusive content and events and stuff. Like I guess with like some of the crossover promotion things like the Dragon Ball Fighters or like the Dragon Ball Kakarot stuff, like I get why they probably don't return those because either like licensing issues or like I don't know, but like they shouldn't like gate those behind time limited events or stuff like that, especially if they're gonna have abilities that like are really like worth having those units for. Like the Kakarot Goku has 20% health for Goku characters, which if you didn't get it, then you're gonna miss out on those on that Z ability for your I guess teams and stuff like that. And it's just gonna suck that you don't have that character because you didn't play during a certain period of time, which, I mean, limited time content, I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, I feel like it's just like, there's a lot more to lose than there really is to gain by having that be the case. I feel like you would get more out of having those events be like, at least on like a rotation or something like that. Like, again, Dokkan has events that go away, but then they do rerun them every once in a while, or they like redo them, they restore them. I don't know. They like put them, like remake them every so often for like those old events that are outdated. So yeah, I just don't see any reason why Legends can't just do that. Where just like, you know, if that limited time event goes away, just like have it on rotation so that people can still get it even after like the campaign has ended or something. So it just makes no sense. It's just, you're just gatekeeping stuff to gatekeep stuff, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So with that, I guess I would say that that's all the stuff that is hurting Legends right now and why the game is failing and dying and all that. So what exactly can be done, or what needs to be done to change Legends and make it good again? How, or I guess better yet, how can the game be fixed? And I think the main way to do this is by addressing all the issues I just said. But I guess let me explain. So, like I just said, with the lack of events and lack of returning events, boom, just make those events come back. As for the lackluster content, I feel like that I could say I could say a little bit more about. Like, I guess the way I would fix the lackluster content in the game, like content feeling boring and repetitive, is by having PvP be its own different gameplay style, and PvE being its own thing as well. So, like, for example, you know, like, the dynamic area battles system that there is for PvP, right? So what if there was, like, that, but, like, more expanded upon in PvE, where, like, I don't know, I guess, for example, if enemies had unique skills that only happen in PvP, like, characters, like I don't know, there could be, like, enemy swarms, like, imagine you having to fight through a bunch of, like, a group of Frieza soldiers just swarming you and stuff like that, like, having to burst them all down and attack multiple enemies at the same time and stuff like that. Like, things to make the game more exciting and have there be more gameplay variety. And also to have, like, some, like, what I would call set pieces. Like, I guess to give you an example, I would say, like, in Sonic, in, like, the Sonic games, I'm a big fan of Sonic, by the way. Uh, like, there's usually one or two set pieces of a level of, like, a unique gimmick that happens just for that level. For example, like in Sonic Adventure 2, there's, like, the missile launch sequence in Metal Harbor, or, like, the truck chase from City Escape. Things like that. Like, basically, exciting moments that only happen in certain parts of the game. Like what if during, like, the Shallot Frieza boss fight, like, Frieza starts launching a death ball and you have to, like, uh, destroy it or, like, launch it back before Frieza blows up the planet with it or something. Like, just unique, I guess, unique gameplay moments that, like, make the game actually feel special and feel like, I don't know, there's a bit of progression and also just a bit of, like, you're doing something, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah, just, like, having cool moments like that just to add a little bit of spice and variety to the game, because it's, well, like I said, very boring just tapping the same 4 cards over and over again until the enemy falls over. And as for events needing new units, just simply, I guess you could still have, like, new units be boosted, but just balance the event to be, like, beatable with, like, a solid team, or, like, even, like, adjusted to be, like, free-to-play level. Just, I think a way they could do it is just increase the health of the bosses, but don't increase, like, the damage or the defense that they have. Just make it so that they have higher health, so that way the new units have a bunch of damage boost and stuff like that. But if you still make a good enough party, you could still beat those events and stuff like that. Although I guess that's not really as big of an issue as it used to be, but still, it would be a good thing for them to do. And also, obviously, just give out more rewards. I guess it's kind of a given. Just give out more rewards. Less mediocre ones. Just give out more crystals, you know? Give out more crystals in all different kinds of events. Or, you know, maybe just, like, return the CC that they took from, like, the events that they took them from. That they said they were going to place them elsewhere. Because it feels really boring. It feels really... It just kind of feels like a chore to do daily quests, or doing your dailies every single day just for, like, the 14 days to get that 500 at the end. Like, you gotta put a little bit more around in the game for people to actually obtain, so, like, they actually stick around for those 14 days. And then on top of that, I already talked about, like, the boring single player experience point, so yeah, I'll move on from that. But so the free to play options, honestly, they could do a couple of different things here. They could, like, just make it so, like, after a certain amount of time, you could just obtain characters for free. Maybe have, like, a free trial system for certain characters, or, like, have free-to-play LFs, but I feel like they probably wouldn't do that last one. Or probably the second to last one that I just mentioned. But definitely just make better free-to-play characters, make them stronger, make them have more unique abilities, which I guess the only issue from that is it would take away resources from the actual premium units. But I mean, if they're just going to be broken messes anyways, I think they could spare a few hands, a few extra dev time to making more interesting, or at least just stronger free-to-play units. Or honestly, just tune them up a little bit if they're not feeling too strong, and that's it. But yeah, and also actually have I would say to have like just more free-to-play units in general. Like one for every campaign, sure, that's fine, but I feel like there should also be like a free-to-play team that you work towards, kind of like in Dokkan, where there's like the Prime Battle LRs that you can grind, and like they're actually pretty good if you get like their easy A's or super easy A's even, or like even have like a beginner free-to-play team that like can actually hold its own, kind of like the free-to-play Saiyan Saga team that there is in Dokkan for when people first start the game, and also have like a free-to-play team, I guess, for like returning players. I don't really know how that would work, but just yeah, just as long as there's more free-to-play options, I feel like that's good because it'll at least give people a chance to come back to the game after they've been gone for a while and actually be able to clear content and be able to actually like try to get into the game or like try to get rewards to actually summon for the new content. Just yeah, I think you could get the idea here. And of course, the over-reliance of PvPs content, I guess, just having more PvP modes. I don't know. I don't really know what else to say here. Just either more PvP modes or have just better PvE so that there's less reliance on PvP. Because having just PvP as like your main option for content feels kind of yeah, it just doesn't feel fun after a while. And as for the short character life cycle section that I mentioned, I would say just, I guess, as simple as it is, just don't overtune the characters, I suppose, or just like, yeah, just don't overtune the characters, don't make every single character have to top the previous one that was just released, or just simply, please, don't make another Metal Cooler type unit ever again. But, yeah. And on top of that, kind of a related point is, actually have banners with value, because when there's characters that suck, like Metal Cooler, having them then return on multiple banners, and like having a bunch of old units on those banners, like just it feels really bad to pull those, as I mentioned. So I guess just, you know, add more recent units to those, and also add like some of the Mega Rising banner characters, or like some of those like exclusive to certain banner format characters. Like, just don't gatekeep those characters behind different banner types, like the Mega Rising, or I don't really know what other ones there are, but just yeah, like it makes no sense to keep those characters out of the general sparking pool, out of the general character pool. And also, I guess I should just mention this really quick. I feel like it's time for guaranteed sparking to be just a you know, like a universal thing, like not just on certain steps of LF banners, because it makes no sense that we're 7 years into the game and sparking guaranteed still isn't a thing for every single multi-summon. I mean, I guess for like the 300 steps and stuff like that, like that's fine, like, but like for every 10 unit multi, I feel like it has to be guaranteed sparking. Like, it just makes no sense why it shouldn't be. So that would help out a little bit, at least, with banners lacking value, And again, like I said, like just add those also those other characters into the general pool and add more recent sparking, like if they're like I don't know, let's say 3 months old, I feel like they can return onto a banner or something like that. But like they shouldn't be returning like 6 to 9 months later. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like why are they taking that long to return? And they're not even good when they return. They're not even good anymore. And that would also help with those dry periods as well, like having the the actual good PvE content, having actual good banners, having good rewards, just like because even if they're not like hype releases around or anything like that, like at least that will keep the game alive for until those hype campaigns, hype celebrations actually happen. Because when there's no rewards or no nothing to do, you don't get the character, and PvP is kind of boring now, and PvE sucks because it's just the same thing over and over again. That's what creates the dry periods as well. And so, also because Legends Fest is coming around the corner, as I just mentioned, in a day or two, actually. I meant to get this video out way sooner, I promise, but I just got really, really bad procrastination and distraction. So I'm getting it out now. But anyways, what I want to see for Legends Fest this year is good units, first of all, like good choices for characters, having those characters have decent animations and good kits as well, and then just I guess what I just mentioned, just good rewards, good content to do, like fun content to do as well, and just yeah, that'll be a good Legends Fest. Just if you have good characters and they don't suck and they're cool in both, the character choice and the animations, and then you have good content on top of that, that's what makes a good celebration. So, the opposite of what Legends has been doing recently. So then, that brings up the question, will Legends ever be good again? Or was it even good from the start? Or is the game doomed? Or what even is the future of Dragon Ball Legends? And the answer to that is, well, I think that the game can be made good again. Definitely if they follow at least some of what I just mentioned, like how they can fix the game. But just at least what needs to be done is just they need to put more effort back into the game as much as they get in terms of money from this game, because you bet they make a bunch of money from these like dry periods from the Goreshes, the Ryudens out there. So yeah, I think Legends can be good again if they do fix some of these issues, if they do at least make an attempt at making the game what it used to be. And I think it was genuinely good from the start, because otherwise I wouldn't be making this video, I wouldn't be even bothering to say anything about it. And I don't think the game is completely doomed. There's always going to be some sucker that comes along and, spends money, or like, I don't know, just like, even enjoys the game even if it's like flawed or something like that. Like maybe they're just like starting out, they don't know what they're getting into, those poor souls. But as for the future of Dragon Ball Legends, I feel that the game will go on still. It'll still be a thing. Even I'm sure they'll get to the 10th anniversary or something. If not, then end of service campaign, woohoo! But yeah, I definitely think that the future for Dragon Ball Legends is bright as long as they actually, I guess, as people would say, lock in and actually do good. Alright, so with all that being said, yeah, just Legends right now just isn't what it really used to be like. Like, Dragon Ball Legends has been a game that has been with me for a very long time. Well, I mean, I guess for as long as it's been around, 7+ years, but I mean, that's a long time. That's a long time, and I've gotten to know a lot of good people because of it. I've gone through some ups and some downs since starting to play the game. But yeah, just the game has changed, and really the game has not really changed for the best in some ways. In some ways, I guess the game has changed for the better, but definitely not in other ways. So, yeah, I just wanted to make this video really to just rant, get my thoughts and feelings out about what I think is wrong with Legends right now, why the game feels the way that it does now, as opposed to why, or as opposed to how it felt before. Just what was and what could be, and now what is and what it isn't. But yeah, that's just, you know, my rant, my ramblings. I've definitely yapped on for long enough. If you have any thoughts that you want to share as well, if you have any ideas for any of the stuff that I mentioned as well, let me know down below in the comments and stuff. You know, just have a nice civil discussion, talk about, you know, the game, what you think. Is the game dying? Do you think it needs to be fixed? Do you think any of the stuff that I mentioned is actual good criticism or anything? Or am I just talking and yapping about nothing? I don't know, but yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this rant video. I really yapped a bunch for this one, so I won't bother you anymore, and I'll just leave you with that. As you can tell, I still just don't know how to end videos, so, but yeah, just, I guess, thank you all for watching. Go ahead and, you know, like, subscribe, things, all that, and, I'll see you in the next one, probably for Legends Fest. If Legends Fest fails, I'm never playing this game again, probably. I don't know at this point, like, I've said that so many times, but yeah, just, take care, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.